Hi everyone. In this video, we'll be talking about 9 essential SAT math formulas that you need to know. So let's get right into it. The first formula is the slope formula. Essentially, when you're given 2 points on a line, you want to figure out what the slope of the line is. And for that, the formula that you need to use is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, where x1 and x2 are the two x coordinates and y1 and y2 are the two y coordinates. So if we look at the problem below, we have the points 2, 4, and 7, 3, which are on the same line. And we want to figure out what the slope of the line is. So what we'll do is we'll use x1 equal to 2 and x2 equal to 7 and set y1 equal to 4 and y2 equal to 3. And if we plug this in, we then get 3 minus 4 over 7 minus 2, which is equal to negative 1 over 7, which means that the slope of the line is negative, or in other words, it's going down to the right and moving up to the left. The second essential formula is the slope-intercept form, which is essentially a line being in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope of the line and b is the y-intercept. So if we look below, if we have the line y equals 2x plus 3, it is in slope-intercept form. We know that the slope of the line is 2, which means that it is positive and it is moving up and to the right, and the y-intercept is 3. So if x is 0, then the y-coordinate would be 3. The third formula is for parallel and perpendicular slopes. So while this isn't a specific formula, what you need to know is that if two lines have the same slope, then they are parallel, which means that they do not intersect. And if the two lines are perpendicular, then that means that they intersect at a right angle. And for two lines to be perpendicular, they will have to be opposite reciprocals, and I'll explain what that is below. So if we have the three lines here at the bottom, y equals 4x plus 3, y equals 4x plus 6, and y equals negative 1/4 x plus 3, as you can see, the first two lines have the same slope, 4, so they're going to be parallel. They don't touch. However, the third line is going to be perpendicular to the first two lines, y equals negative 1/4 x plus 3, because it has the opposite reciprocal slope. It is opposite in sign, and if you take 4 over 1, the opposite is 1 over 4. The fourth formula to know is the midpoint formula, which is essentially used to figure out what the point in between two other points is. So if I have 2 points, I want to figure out exactly what point is in between those two. And the formula we use for that is x1 plus x2 over 2, comma y1 plus y2 over 2. So if we have the 2 points below, 4, 4, and 10, negative 2, we'll use the x1 and x2 as we showed in the formula above. And we'll look at this and see 4 plus 10 over 2 and 4 plus negative 2 over 2, and we get the answer 7, 1. And so this means that when we look at the 2 points 4, 4 and 10, negative 2, 7, 1 is the point exactly in between those 2 points. The fifth formula to know is the distance formula, and this is the square root of the quantity y2 minus y1 squared plus the quantity x2 minus x1 squared. Now you use this formula if you want to figure out the distance between 2 points. So as we saw above, the midpoint formula is used to find the exact middle between 2 points. This is to figure out the exact distance between 2 points. So if we have the 2 points 7, 4 and 8, 3, and we plug this in, we would get the square root of 3 minus 4 squared plus the quantity of 8 minus 7 squared. This then equals the square root of 1 plus 1, which is equal to the square root of 2, which means that between the points 7, 4 and 8, 3, there's a distance of square root of 2 units, which is about 1.4. So about 1.4 units between those 2 points. The sixth formula to know is averages. Now averages can pretty much be summed up as the sum divided by the total, which means that if I have a list of numbers or quantities, I'm going to figure out what the total sum is and divide it by the total number of elements in the list. So if I have the list 6, 4, 3, 4, 3, I'm going to add them all up. And so if I add them all up, I get 6 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4 plus 3. I'm going to divide them by the total amount of elements, which is 5, and I get 4, which means that the complete average or mean of this list is 4. The seventh formula is a very easy one. It's the circle area formula, which is just pi r squared. So if I have a circle with the radius of 6 as seen below, then I'm going to simply do pi times 6 squared, which is equal to 36 pi. And the eighth formula is just the circle circumference formula, which is also simple. It's just 2 pi r. So if I have the radius of 6 for another circle, then I'm just going to do pi times 6 times 2, which is equal to 12 pi. The final formula is the quadratic formula, which you've probably seen before. It is used to solve quadratic equations, and it is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And you only use this formula if you're given a equation in this form, ax squared plus bx squared plus c, where a, b, and c are simply just constants, and a constant is just any kind of a number, an integer like 3, 4, or 5. And so if I have the equation x squared plus 7x plus 10, in this equation, a is 1, because that's just the coefficient in front of x squared, b is 7, and c is 10, as we can see it's in the form above. And so if we actually go ahead and solve this, we'll see negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 49 minus 4 times 10 times 1 over 2 times 1. Simplifying this, you get negative 7 plus or minus 3 over 2. Plus or minus means that we're going to have two different answers. In one case, we'll add 3, and in the other case, we'll subtract 3. If we subtract 3, we'll get negative 10 over 2, which is negative 5. That's one answer. And if we add 3, we'll get negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2, and that is the final answer. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.